Designers and Builders, where design meets construction. We explore groundbreaking trends and talk to the pros reshaping our spaces. For your dream home, workspace, or just great design inspiration, subscribe to Designers and Builders. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode, Designers and Builders. Steve and
Alyssa Olson.
we were just sort of catching up. We still have, I think we have like 47 days for each of our respective goals of me raising $1 million and breaking a world record. Well, my $1 million is by the end of the year, but breaking a world record and selling tickets to my event. Are you coming to Brooklyn?
Absolutely.
Great. Awesome. All right. That's more motivation. When people get on a plane to come to my events, I gotta make it happen. So there's that. And then Alyssa's job is ending on November 6th as well. So Alyssa, I guess give us update where you're at.
Yeah. So I'm very much in between so many things right now. My job will be done November 6th, like you said. I do not have any sort of plans after that, which is very rare for me not to have life plans. But I'm excited. I've been talking to a lot of people, just connecting with people from past parts of life. And there's so much potential out there. There's so many cool projects going on all over the place. Everything has been a yes so far, and I'm just waiting to hear on details. So really excited for whatever may be in the future.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, let me and then for me, I've been kind of like slowly, I have actually just finished a project yesterday for Purpose Design, and then I have another project installing today, and then I just got a bathroom remodel project just before we hopped on, which is great. And then I'm probably going to do a kitchen. And the one other thing that I realized too is I started talking to a friend. She lives on the North Shore of Chicago. So it's kind of a wealthier neighborhood. And so she has a lot of DIY experience. So I think I'm just gonna like collaborate with her and have her like lead that area, which kind of led me to start thinking about not necessarily franchising, but like people having like territories, and then they use the tools that I use to run this business. So like the same software, same templates. And so it's just kind of like plug and play, and then so the deal that I have is like they get a larger percentage of, so when we sell a design consult, so it's like a larger percentage to them. And then we take a small fee, like what's that called? Like Uber, right? So they take 20-30%, and then once the project is sold, then it's like a partnership. So like 50-50. And because the idea really, I don't know, that I think more and more about this, that the idea of creating spaces for people. And I feel like there's a moment right now with the interest rates dropping. It's almost like, so like this one client that I just got, she's taking a home equity line of credit. It's because interest rates drop. So she is gonna invest in her home. And so I was like, ooh, I think that's a signal.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it
And
is.
then I started thinking about, um, okay, even for you, what are the warmer weather areas and where people are gonna want to do landscape design? Because we're heading into the fall and the winter, and then why don't we just target those areas with design services, and then we partner with contractors to fulfill, right? And then if there's enough margin on there, like, like you go and make it happen. But the idea is really like, if you can have 3 or 4 projects at once and with a trusted contractor, that's kind of what I'm realizing. Like, at least for Purpose Design projects, like closets are pretty, lucrative, but the things that require lots of components, like you have to charge accordingly because there's a lot of time put into it, a lot of time. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think you leaving your job at the right time is going to happen because, like I said, interest rates are down, and I feel like people are going to smart people are going to take advantage of that. Like wealthier
Absolutely.
people, wealthier people they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to invest in my home, right? So that I can fix it up and then sell it and then
Yeah.
buy
It
the
is.
next home.
And that's our opportunity right there.
And that's our opportunity. Yeah. How are you feeling overall, state of the world and just like everything? You don't
Feel
mind saying
empathetic.
that's the word.
Mhm.
It's pretty overwhelming, honestly.
It's a lot, and I feel like it's a magician's secret. It's like, "Look over here. Well, we're gonna shuffle things over here." It's just dividing us and creating chaos, and I'm trying to clear that and focus on focusing. Like, what can I control and what can I do personally?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm aligned. Same thing. There's way too much there's way too much sort of attention. It's like, like you said, sleight of hand. It's just like something's happening. And the other part that I think a lot about is, during chaos, like how can you thrive during chaos? And one thing that I've been doing a lot of is a lot of meditation around regulating your nervous system
Me too.
because have you? That's
Yeah,
great.
I have. I've started doing breathing exercises again and just
Yeah.
trying to center myself and to control my thoughts, Like thought time and energy is so valuable. So what can I do to harness that?
Yeah, it really is because it's pretty distracting everything that's going on. And if you don't pay attention, you can like, you know, kind of it wouldn't be a good thing, basically. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you said signal because I've been thinking a lot about the noise to signal ratio that you let into your life.
yeah.
And the more noise you have, the less you can listen to the signals. And that's kind of what I say with the focus and with the meditation with you is focusing on those channels.
Yeah. Man, my day got so messed up right now. I had a rough drop off with my kid, and then I had a design consult, and then and I'm looking, hold on one second. Rough drop off at school. So you want to hear something crazy?
Always.
I had a meeting with a realtor who reached out to me about projects, and I was supposed to meet him for coffee at 9:30, and I didn't have him on my calendar, and my site visit ran over, and I was dysregulated because I had a rough drop off at school for my kid, and then I was just flustered, and man, gee.
Ugh,
Just when you think you're doing good, and then you just kind of get kicked. You just get kicked in the stomach. You're like, fuck, man, I thought I had it together. Meditated. I did my regulation. I was like, I wrote in my journal. And
so
the universe
prepared.
is like, here's some sand in your eyes.
Yeah. You know what, Steve? I was thinking about that this morning too. So the craziest thing, so I've been trying to put more energy into social media posts, right? And so I made a reel about the black walnut dining table that I finally completed after a year and a half and two injuries and relearning how to walk twice and all these challenges. The craziest thing. So I'm going back through a year and a half of photos trying to just organize them. The same day that I ruptured my Achilles, which was also the same day that I took time off work to work on that table with my dad to try to budget time for the weekend, tried to play Ultimate to get back into shape. That same day was when you came across my Instagram, and I had screenshotted you that morning.
Wow.
And it was just because I had signed a remote work policy a couple weeks prior, and so I had already been thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to think about these next steps in my life." And you showed up. And
Wow.
literally, my pivot when I was playing Ultimate was actually a life pivot, and it actually led me towards, connecting with you and pursuing all these things. And so all I get to say is just like, as much as you might plan for things, things can change in a second, but it could be that change that actually changes the direction of your entire life.
Yeah, man, that's goosebumps right there. Cause I was like, yeah, you know, I think a lot about like how do you recognize signals as gifts and because too because sometimes like the guy wrote back and he's like he goes And he's like, I've been there before. And like sometimes those types of things will give you an indication on who you want to be around because, life is short, life is long, but whoever you spend the most time with should really be adding value to your life because life is literally, and so, yeah, I recognize that like there are moments because even when I started working with you, like a couple weeks later, somebody recognized me and it wasn't for the stuff that I talked about in the Woodpreneur podcast, or it had nothing, nobody really knew anything about my nonprofit work at the time that I met you, except for people that knew me from my nonprofit world. But, you know, like Zach, the other guy, like he recognized something in me and it kind of gave, so like even talking about it right now gave me a signal like, oh, this is, I should be working on and doing the things that I'm good at and not trying to force myself into spaces because it's the challenge, right? Like, oh, I want to learn something new. Like I should really just be leaning into. And so when we started talking and then you started telling me about your life and I was like, oh, I think I got this. I think I got this. And it's around podcasting and it's around podcasting. It's around, just being yourself and getting paid to be yourself. And then you invested in me. Right. And so, which is really, and you invested in yourself as well. And so it's just kind of been it's a cool thing. And I think it's like 2 years now, right? This is,
Yeah, coming up.
yeah, yeah. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, November, this fall is going to make 2 years since we first met. And life is completely different since then. And then now we're collaborating on a podcast that you wanted to launch back then, right? So like,
Exactly. Yeah, and all these other things are lining up, and the reclaimed wood in California and Jennifer. It just like all of these things that I think all of us independently have been dreaming about and working towards. And
let me ask you this report, this grant thing, you're gonna come up with specs, correct?
correct. Yeah. So it's an R&D grant internal to my company. And it's funny. So I'm really interested in urban reclaim salvage wood, right? Like I've been personally working on those projects since I've learned about reclaimed wood for over a decade. And I've been trying to merge my worlds of landscape architecture and woodworking because I love how they combine. So I applied for this grant. And funny enough, a colleague of mine who similarly will be speaking at webinars with some of the same people at the Sawyer conference that we'll be speaking at later in October. My colleague also applied for an R&D grant at a much larger scale of forestry management and using all these different kinds of wood in architecture. So they combined us. And so I'm writing the pilot spec, and that'll inform other specifications that he'll be writing as well. So it's a much
Got it. Got it.
broader.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I almost feel like you just need to be talking about the sustainable building material stuff even more, Like that could be a lane in let's talk about that next time. Let's talk about that next time because I feel like this stuff that Jennifer and I are doing, what I would love to do is to like, if I got the marketing, she's got the systems, then you can talk about the specs and being the connector to the architecture and design community. And I as I say it right now, like that makes a lot of sense. Like you are that person for this initiative.
Absolutely.
Okay, next time on the side, I'm going to tell you about this sort of mega, mega, mega plan. So I'll talk to you.
Yeah. Hey,
All right. I'll talk to you later.
sounds good. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, bye.